What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This is DJ Lionhead from the Support Your Boy podcast. Now, usually I would have a guest on the podcast, right? But this time I'm trying to go ahead and do episodes on my own. Maine is right. Okay. So, like I said, this is a little awkward for me because I usually don't do episodes on my own. I always have a guest and interviewing somebody, things of that nature. For some reason, I just think that you guys are more interested in hearing their point of view, my point of view. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. I feel that way. There is something I wanted to get off my head that I had kind of mulling around. Those who know me and know I'm a DJ, obviously podcasting, but I was, before all that, I was a show promoter, and then, I was going to get you there. But yeah, I was a show promoter, local show promoter here in the Sacramento area, and I still am. But after the pandemic, I kind of really slowed down on it. You know what I'm saying? I really slowed down on it. I've been thinking about coming back, doing shows again, like I used to. You know what I mean? But things have changed. What I mean by things have changed, venues. The venues have changed here in the Sacramento area. Sacramento used to be the number one spot in Northern California to me for going to do shows and being beneficial. Bay Area artists would always come to SAC to do shows. I know that there's shows going on in the Bay, and there's some pretty good venues out there, but the ones in Sacramento were great, and you have a lot of opportunity. This is what I'm talking about, the early 2000s. Like when I started was the early 2000s doing shows. Nowadays, the venues aren't like they used to be, man. There used to be so many hip-hop venues, or I should say venues that would accept hip-hop. There's like so little of them now. The ones I mostly see, I think it's called a Colomo, I forgot how it's pronounced, but that one does hip-hop shows. And the one I see a lot, everybody's using, which is the 708 on K Street. Shout out to Shadow. He's got a Sacchella coming out on, I think it was in October 4th, or was it 11th? I'll figure that out. But yeah, check that out because I'm going to try to be there for that one. But yeah, there was so many venues back in the day. There was where I think I made my name as far as doing as a promoter, which is the River's Edge. River's Edge in West Sac was the spot, man. It was the spot. Shout out to Natalia. She gave a lot of opportunity for underground artists, underground promoters in the Sacramento area, and even in anybody in Northern California. She was giving a lot of opportunity to perform when people were saying things in Sacramento like, don't go do Sacramento, don't put them no hip hop shows in there, they're gonna bring gangs. Oh, don't do that, there's always some fights going on. And there was some fights going on in some shows, but not always. There were some people out there like me who was putting on shows in Sacramento, local shows, that had zero fights, zero incidences. And then there was, and no disrespect for the people who did have, fights, incidences, because usually when there's a fight going down in a show or something like that, that means that show was packed. It was packed out. I had my fair share of packed shows, somewhat. Not many, but I had a lot of good shows. A lot of good vibes, a good environment, But yeah, to get back to the point, I don't think there's that many hip-hop venues or venues in Sacramento that is accepting hip-hop like it used to be. Not like it used to be. We had the River's Edge. We had The Blue Lamp. Shout out to the Blue Lamp. Um, but now the owner of the Blue Lamp, she has another venue, which is I think it's the Colony and the Colonial Theater. Uh, she still accepts music artists there, but I think the Colony is mostly rock, which has always been that way. But when I was doing shows there before she owned the place, I was doing straight up rap and R&B, and it was dope. It was really, really dope to do it there, because even though it was no air conditioning and there was no windows really, it had a real street feel to it. I would like to go ahead and still do shows out of there. It was definitely rock and roll looking with all the graffiti all over the walls, but I would still do shows there, man, if I could. I want to do shows again, but I don't think all those venues that I had just mentioned is accepting local hip hop. And I don't want to blame gangs in Sacramento. I don't want to blame the crime that's going on. I mean, it's kind of common sense. That's one of the reasons. Those are the reasons why they're not accepting local hip hop, acts. But there's so many artists, and I proved it with my track record of putting on shows, that you can actually do a hip hop show and not have violence at that venue. Ask Natalia. She never had any issues. I did 50 plus shows. 0 fights, 0 incidents. Well, there was just one time that Penny Holyfield almost beat the shit out of a security guard. But it didn't go down, though. Sorry about that. They need to put that out there. But you did. You was ready. You was ready. But it didn't happen. So I'm honored to have that, proof showing that there's never been any kind of a fight. And so it's proof that you can have a local hip hop show and not have any violence whatsoever. If I've done it 50 plus times, that should be proof enough. I don't know. But then it's not like I'm hella known. I'm not hella known like that. So if it sounds like I'm talking out my ass, I apologize. What I'm trying to say is, I wish there was more venues out here in Sacramento that will take on local hip hop and R&B. I mean, they'll accept R&B, they'll accept pop, and they'll accept hip hop as long as it's positive hip hop. And I love positive hip hop. I never really had too much gang stuff. I would ask them to leave that stuff leave that stuff off the shelf, because in some of their songs, when it could be gang related, they may bring up the other side, and then they hear what's going on and they show up at the venue. Yeah, it can go bad. So I would just ask them to leave those songs out, and it worked. And it shows proof that you can have local hip hop in your venue, even if it's not a super positive music, and still make money. Because I made some money for myself, and the bar has made money when I was doing shows. It can happen, but there's so many venues that just won't accept hip hop anymore here. So I have a question to anybody who's watching this. If you know any other venues other than 708K and some of the other venues, I've heard of some other venues, but none of them really giving you an opportunity to not only have artists perform but make any money. There's ones I've been hearing. It's like, hey, we're gonna take care of the door. You just pay to rent the place for the night. You're not getting any of the door, and you just somehow make money that way. The reason I want to go ahead and I'm doing shows is not only to make it a public event, and help support these artists, but also at least make my money back. These venues are like $350, $400, $500. Once they start going over $500, then it's and they don't let you get the door. That's It's a waste of my time and money. Sorry. I know there's some promoters out there, local promoters, who got it like that, who can shit $600, $700 for a venue ain't nothing to them, and that's cool. Not to me. That's money I need. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was able to at least break even. Yeah, man. It's so hard to find a venue here. So you guys do me a favor. If you know of any venues here, I'm talking about the Sacramento artists or Sacramento promoters. If you ever see this video, please in the comments or somehow or DM me, let me know of any other venue where in Sacramento that will accept hip hop and let you get money at the door. You know what I mean? I've been offered, hey, you want to go to this place? You can put on a show. But yeah, I'm still putting in $300-$400 to have you guys all perform, and they get the door, they get the bar, they get everything, and I just basically paying for other people to perform. I'm basically paying for footage. And what if I wasn't a DJ and I want to get back in the game? I gotta pay for that too. It's getting tough out here for a promoter. So, especially if you don't know of any venues where you can actually make any kind of profit. I mean, the idea is not to make strictly to make a profit, but I would love to make a profit doing the promoting, because that's what I was doing. We brought so many people to the venue, and that bar was getting bought out. We'd love to try to make a profit. That's what us promoters do. You know what I mean? Yeah, like myself, I like to support people. I want to go home with something too. I know the artists are like, hey, what about us? You ain't paying us. You ain't paying us. Yeah, if you want to get paid, you can go ahead and put your own shows. Like I know some artists out here who used to be on my shows. They're doing shows. You know what I mean? Or they've done shows and they've made money that way. So, yeah, man. For real, if you guys know of any venue that will allow me to get the door, because I know a couple right now. That's some dope ass venues, but you ain't getting no door. Or if you do get the door, you got to put in 100 people. Got to come through the door. Heard of one venue like that. If they get 100 people in the door, then moving forward, you get the door. That ain't easy for a local show, unless you got a headliner. You know what I mean? I don't really do headliners. I had a bad experience, so I don't do headlines. I do strictly artists that are on the underground, that are not big name, and I love it. And I love supporting them. I love seeing them. There's artists who've been on my shows or me and my team shows, and that really, really ascended really well. I don't even go into names. If you know who DJ Lionhead or Prime Tracks is, you know what's up. But again, I'm just trying to get back into the game, but I gotta do my research and try to find some shows out here, other than the ones that I do know of. So if anybody does have any names of venues or phone numbers I can get in contact with as far as these venues, let me know. But make sure that I can actually get the door at these venues. You know what I mean? I don't want to give my money up to a venue and then come to find out we have a great show and I'm $400. I lost $400 in that whole thing just because I wanted to do a show. I'm not doing that. Or I be knowing some venues that was like, hey, you could perform here for free. Now that's dope. That's dope. You get to perform there for free. You just gotta kind of make a date and you talk to the venue owner. But again, they get the door. So I can bring in 100 people. They getting all of that. Now, of course, I didn't put no money into it. So I guess it kind of works out. I would still work with those if I'm putting out music. If I'm performing, I'm doing a show and I want people open up for me doing a headline show, I could do something like that. But then it's kind of worth it, But to just put on a show, make zero money. I'm a DJ, not get paid, and just go perform to some venue. Oh man. I want to thank you for listening to me talk about this, and I was serious about that. I don't care if you're a rapper, if you're a promoter, let me know. I'm trying to find out. All right, you guys. Next time, we'll try again. See you guys later.